Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. This is episode number 148. This week, I'm joined by my co host, Roger, aka Lunatic Oblivion. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Good. It is just us two this week. Scott had another wedding to attend, and he's recovering still, some would say. But nonetheless, how you been, man, over the last 2 weeks since we did tech last week off?
It's been quiet. It's been quiet. Lots of work, though.
Yeah, I bet.
Lots of going into the office.
Yeah. No, a lot less working from home, a lot more issues and whatnot on your hands.
Well, just being management makes it
Yeah.
makes the job a little more tedious some days.
That's for sure. Yeah, man. I just been my life has been consumed with going to work, taking care of the family, and obviously playing Black Ops 6, which we're gonna roll right into now because that's pretty much the only game on my list this week. Honestly, it's been Black Ops 6. I've been playing a shit ton of multiplayer, but on top of that, I still play a lot of zombies because I do a lot of weapon grinding in there to get the levels out the way. And I have a good strat on there to get quite a few levels each time I play on Liberty Falls. So that's been fun. Obviously, me and you did the Easter egg for both maps already, so that's been out the way. And we're kind of waiting eagerly for about I think about a month or so, and then we'll get the new map at the season 1 reloaded time frame, which that's going to be a lot of fun to hop back in and
Yeah.
dive into that story.
That's what I'm excited to play. I'm honestly bored with the multiplayer. It's one of those things. It's just not. It's too sweaty, man.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're actually figuring this out. It depends on whose fucking lobby you're in, and it's like I've been hopping into my best friend Dre's lobbies, and my god, they're so fucking easy. I love playing in his lobbies. Like it's night and day difference. I literally host a lobby, and you're fighting Navy SEALs every single time, and I'm just like, man, this is not fun. I don't even want to play this game. I want to throw my controller and break it. Hop in his lobbies, we're good to go. And honestly, like if you ever wanted to play, we'll just have you host or have someone else host, and so we can get into enjoyable lobbies and.
So I can sit there and watch you kill everyone.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Sometimes it does get like that. Dre was like, "Bro, you gonna save some kills for anybody else?" Because like we play TDM 9 out of 10 with him.
Yeah.
And good thing they raised the score limit to 100 because like I'm getting like 30 or 40 kills, and they're just like, "Bro, you gonna save some for the rest of us?"
Chill.
And I'm just like,
Chill
I'm
out,
enjoying the
man.
game for once, man. I can actually run around and play Call of Duty like I used to play Call of Duty.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, I got real tired real fast of the multiplayer. I was like, spawn die.
Yeah, especially playing in my lobbies, and like you and Al were not the only ones to say that. Like I've had a couple other people play in my lobbies. They're like, Vic, why are your lobbies so fucking hard to play in? I said, I have no idea.
Why are they so much more sweaty than anyone else's?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I have been playing the single player story, and I think I might be halfway done with it already. But it's an overall, it's a much better experience over the last couple of years for sure. It's just
Mhm.
I don't know how I feel about like after like every mission you go back to this like safe house and like they bicker about back and forth, and then like you can upgrade some parts of your safe house for barely any incentive with the cash that you collect during the story missions, and then like you
Mhm.
click on the mission board and you're like, we're gonna do this mission next, and then you go off and do the mission. I'm like, I could probably do Call of Duty without the mission, the safe house and stuff like that. Just roll like a movie. It just feels like it's a hard cut in the middle of like a movie, you know?
Mhm.
But we'll see. Overall, the story's been great. I just played this last mission. I'm sure you probably saw it all over like the internet. It's the mission with the mannequins that if you turn your back, they like start to chase after you until you look at them and they freeze, and then like you're having these like hallucinations and they turn into zombies. And it's a pretty cool fucking dope ass level. It's actually one of my favorite video game levels that I played in quite some time.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's really the only thing I've been playing. We'll get to the other one that is on my list here, but looks like you gotten to beating Metro 2033 Last Light Redux. How did that end up playing, and how does that compare to the newest entry with Exodus that you also started?
So I got quite a few things to say about that.
Oh boy.
All right. So Last Light was interesting. I think I want to criticize the game in its morality system because the morality system is really difficult to deal with if unless you know what you're doing. And the game doesn't really tell you that there's a morality system. It just assumes you'll figure it out. So like you get an ending that's not even canonical if you just zoom through the game. That's the thing. Like if you're just playing the game to play the game, you're likely not to get the actual ending that is what they use for you to go into the third game. You
Mm.
actually have to play as the good guy. Like, as you're walking around the game, you can tell your ending is turning out pretty bad based on the way people talk. They're like, yeah, there's this guy. He's like a shadow. He just fucking shows up and murders everyone. You're like, yes, yes,
Yes,
I
I
do.
do. Dang.
I am darkness. But like if you don't play in such a way that you avoid murdering a lot of people and that you take time to find the side things that you can do to like help out people that aren't even listed as like missions. They're just like somebody says something and you can go help them out. Like if you don't do well on the morality system, you just blow up the fucking D6 and that's the end of the game and you kill the Nazis. Yay, you win. But like on the flip side, you've killed all the Nazis, cool, but or sorry, not Nazis. This in this case, this is the communists. This is the Communist Party. You kill all of them, and what do you get for it? Nothing really. And then the next game is supposed to start off of the true ending, which is you don't blow up D6. Well,
Hmm.
then that requires you to beat the game with the morale ending, which is just the good morale ending. And I
Yeah.
just it's so hard to do because you have to like actually sneak around and you have to incapacitate people, not murder everyone. Like
Right.
just makes it a lot of harder to play.
Right. Yeah. I
But
I think
the game
games. Oh, go ahead.
God. No, no, go.
I was just gonna say I feel like games struggle when sometimes they give too much impactful decisions like that. Because like when you know it's going to be a sequel to the game, it's like any player who played through the game and didn't do the canonical way, those players are kind of like left behind or like made to feel like they played the game wrong, but that
Hmm.
was just how the game played for them. And it doesn't like I feel like games the sequel should be built up to like play off of both decisions and like your
Hmm.
decisions should impact it. Granted, like look at Mass Effect, right? Your decisions that you made in the previous 1 and 2 games eventually ended it
Always take
impact for
always
the next.
always show up. And like that's awesome. But like this one, it's like, oh, okay, so just so you know, the ending of the game, you blew up D6, that's the game. And you're like, what like you
Yeah.
die. You fucking nuked yourself. You don't live. And the game's like, you actually do live because that wasn't the correct ending. You just got a bad ending. You should go back and replay it. And it's like, nah, I'm good, bro.
Right.
Like,
I'm really curious to see how Mass Effect, the new one that's being developed right now,
hmm
because like if it takes place in the same timeline or story time frame as like 1, 2, and 3, like there was several different endings to 3 that could have
hmm
possibly happened. It's like,
but that was kind of dealt with based on the ability to play the DLC, I think it was.
oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
DLC tied up all the endings to fix it. See, then you have to play the DLC to get the true ending.
right. And I'm just like, it kind of like leaves the players out who didn't play the DLC, which is
Hmm.
probably a really vast majority of players. So it's definitely gonna be curious to see how that plays. Another game that I know that's in big talks is Gears of War. I didn't play Gears 5, but I know the ending of Gears 5, and you have to choose between two people and who dies and who lives, and it's just like apparently one is canonical apparently or will be canonical, but like whoever chose to do the other decision is going to be
You're
messed.
just
Like
wrong.
you're just
You're just
wrong,
wrong.
but it's like that means you got to replay the game or something like that. But I mean, Gears of War, they're going back to the beginning with E-Day, so they kind of don't have to worry
Yeah,
about answering that question right now, if at all. Maybe they just that's it, left you on a cliffhanger, and that's all she
that's
wrote.
the end of the series, you know?
Yeah, so it'll definitely see. But so far, Exodus, how's that been playing though for you overall? Is it like a night and day
It's a
difference?
completely different game and it's so jarring. It's it is unbelievably jarring.
Yeah, like better, like it's better than the
No,
first. That's
no.
worse.
The thing is they were like, what if we make this an open world game, like completely open world? And I was like, what?
For what?
Like that's that's not the game I played. What? Yeah, it just and all of a sudden becomes a full open world exploration game.
Yeah, that's a bit weird if you ask me. Like I
Yeah,
feel like we
I
talk about it all the time that game developers chase like the what's big right now, and that's kind of what
yeah.
they did with that game. Like, oh, open world games, that's all the craze right now. Let's make an open world Metro game, and it's like that doesn't fit for this style of
Mhm. Yep. Nope, I'm just
game.
not
Yeah.
sure what to do with it. I'm a little dissatisfied with it, but it is what it is right now. It just that to me, like I loaded it up and I was like, wait, this is open world. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why does it need to be open world? So I'm a little perturbed by that. Playing it right now, it's okay, but it just doesn't feel great. It's just
Hmm.
like because I can tell already that the morality system, like a good ending that's going to be in this game, is just did you do all the side quests? You get the good ending.
Damn.
Yeah. So like I know I've already done it. Like at one point I was walking away from this kid and he's like, "Hey, my teddy bear. I lost my teddy bear when we left." And you're like, "All right, I guess I have to go find your teddy bear." He goes, "Yeah, the flying demon has it." And you're like, "Of course he fucking does."
Of course he
What?
does.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there and the kid's like, "Would you help me find my teddy bear?" And you're just sitting there going, "Well, yeah, I'm going to, but fuck. Really? Why?"
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's
No,
talking about. Oh yeah, go ahead if you got more to say.
I was just gonna say it's definitely a weird one. I can tell that Metro Exodus just I want to get back to the feeling of being in the subway. Like I get that like you had to have some sort of ending where like the world isn't destroyed and that's what this game is. Like the world's not destroyed. It was that they were just hiding because the allies would destroy and re-nuke Russia if they found out they were still there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like World War III, Russia lost.
Well, let's talk about a world where it did end, and that's Dead Island 2. I know this is a game that you were playing with Jordan. Is this still a very enjoyable playthrough? Is this much better than Metro?
I find myself going, okay, I'm ready to finish this game now. I'm glad it's almost over. I'm just like, okay, side quest, go, side quest, go. Oh, we got a key, we'll go open the thing. Oh, we got another key, we'll go open it. But it's like we aren't like checking every little shop side now. It's like, okay, do we have an objective? We're going to it. Oh, we got a side objective. All right, we'll go do it.
Yeah.
It's
Did it get real
it
repetitive?
was fun. Yeah, it was fun, but it gets repetitive fast. I really like the ability to get some of these like big upgrades late game, but like when you find a weapon you really liked and then you have to get rid of it because it's only blue or green, you're like, "Ugh."
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like the game started off really hot, like it was really fun and enjoyable, but then you realize like this is the gameplay
The
loop.
gameplay loop. This
Yeah.
is it. I have played the game.
And it just doesn't evolve or adapt or get new mechanics or like to progress the game forward.
Yeah, it doesn't feel more in depth. It's just like, oh, you have a new power because you gain powers as you play through it, and you're like, oh, my new power is I just turn into a monster and start punching people. Cool.
Yeah, that's great. All right, man. Let's talk about two more here, and they're just card game related. I started playing Pokemon TCG Pocket, which was recently
Hmm.
released within the last 2 weeks. Which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. This game is doing really well, across all standards, and it's been an interesting experience to say the least. It's a much faster paced version of playing Pokemon, like when you're that card battling and stuff like that. And right now there's only one set, and I think I have 180 cards out of the 226. So
Hmm.
I almost have the whole set, which we're going to talk about in a little bit more. But the card art is really beautiful. A lot on a lot of the special cards, and even some of the regular ones are like some throwbacks from the original set as well. For the 151 set, but the game is going to be in a much better state when they start to release more content for it. I believe.
Hmm.
This game only has one set, but like the one set has three different boosters that you can grab, and like each booster has like certain cards you can pull from. So it's like that's interesting
It's like
take
the
on it.
original set, though.
Yeah. So it's like, eh, it works but doesn't work at the same time. Like you should have just made all cards pullable from just one pack,
Hmm.
in my opinion. But I guess breaking it up is cool. Um, and you get two free pulls per day. But you can get more by like collecting this like in-game currency to speed up the time that resets, or you can buy gold coins or whatever like that and buy the packs with real money and stuff, which I'm not doing in this game. Best believe
Hmm.
that. But overall, I mean, it's been a fun experience. I did a couple battles, and I seem to win most times. I feel like in this game, if you go first, you're probably going to lose. Like you have to go second in this game, otherwise you're just gonna get wrecked.
There's no way to clap back.
Yeah, because you're already set behind. Like, because the first, like if you go first, you can't attack, but as soon as the next person goes, they can attack immediately. And I'm like, it's not fair. Like, I don't know how that even works, but nonetheless, it's an overall enjoyable experience. I find myself checking in on it every single day, getting some packs, and they also do give you like a 2 week trial if you want to do the premium pass or whatever, where you get 4 packs per day and like some additional stuff. But I did that for 2 weeks, and it was cool to have those bonus packs, and maybe that's why I have majority of the cards now. It helps speed up that process. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Have you had any time to check this game out yet?
I haven't really been interested in it, to be honest. Like, I really wasn't into playing the Pokemon card game as of recently when I picked up some packs a while back and I was like, oh, we'll see how it goes, see if this is the game for me. And honestly, the meta's pretty stale, it feels like, for Pokemon TCG.
No, okay. Yeah, no,
Mm.
and I feel like Pokemon now is really just all about collecting, which it's funny. Got to catch them all. Like that was it's just the
Hmm.
tagline
It's
of
come
the
full circle.
yeah. Like it's even in real life now with all the cards. Like all you want to do is just collect all the cards because like the value of them in certain packs or certain sets are crazy. Honestly, like
Mm.
the Pikachu that's in this new Sparking. I think it's Sparking something. I forget what it's called, but it's worth like $300 or $400. And I'm just like, man, that's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But let's talk about your game. You've been playing a lot of MTGA. How's that going? I know it's very similar to Pokemon being like the game. How's that for you?
Well, the new set just released Foundations, and it's kind of a core set for the game, and it re-released a lot of core cards over the past maybe 10 years as sort of like new printings of them, reduced rarities of some cards, and it kind of revitalized, I think, the game in some aspects. And I'm excited to see where this goes because it'll kind of set standard for the next 3 years moving forward, which could hopefully reinvigorate the whole format.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Hopefully, it works in you guys' favor for sure. And it's just where I have a sick cat deck.
Yeah, no, the cat support is really cool, and I think it's awesome that they gave Bloomborough a ton of support with rabbits and stuff. So like Hera Parent is pretty cool. They released another you can have any number of this card in your deck card called Hera Parent, and every time you play it, you just get bigger and bigger rabbits based on the number of Hera Parents you have on the board, which
Oh,
is pretty
jeez.
cool.
Yeah, because
Hmm.
something like that can get out of hand really quickly.
And they reprinted some core mana dorks, like Llanowar Elves is back, which is like a core card, but then they printed a ton of elf support around it to play. So no,
Yeah.
I'm excited, and it's a huge set. It's over 300, like 300, 400 cards, I think it is, with the jump start included.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna change the game.
Yeah. Dope to hear. All right, man. Before we move on to the industry news, I just wanted to highlight a couple of games that are coming out over this week. On the 19th, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 will be out on the 19th, so that's going to be a big release. Genshin Impact obviously is already a massive fucking game in the world, but it is officially coming to the Xbox on the 20th, so I know that's going to be huge. But the big one that I'm looking forward to is Stalker 2 that comes out on the 20th as well. And I never played the original Stalker, but we've been following this game for a while now. We know the struggles that they have dealt with developing a game in Ukraine and dealing with that, which we all know about. But Stalker 2, man, looks really fucking good, and I'm really eager to give it a go. And it's Game Pass day one. But Roger, you excited for any of those 3 games at all?
I never played Stalker, but I'm excited to give the second one a go because it looks really cool. It gives me Metro 2020,
Yeah,
2033 vibes, but it feels like it's going to be probably a better refined game because Metro veered away from their formula and they're like, you'll like this. And it's like, no, I
no, I
don't think
won't.
I will. No, no, I don't think so.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and move on to the industry news. All right, man. Kicking it off here with Microsoft. Bethesda workers are going on strike again against Microsoft after failing to reach a new deal with the QA workers. Oh man, you would have thought they would have been able to handle this right away, but I guess not.
Let's be honest, it's Microsoft. They just voted to give themselves huge raises,
right after laying off
so
thousands.
yeah. So like, I honestly, I just saw this coming. The writing on the wall was on the wall a while ago.
Yeah, and this is from the largest certified video game union too that is doing this, and that's just like I don't know why QA testers get treated so poorly in the games industry, or even just in any job at this point.
Yeah, let's be honest. QA is one of the most important things, and we treat them like dumpster. And I'm honestly surprised because like, look at all these games coming out nowadays. Like nobody ever tries to break the game. It feels like because we start playing, we're like, oh, game's broke.
Yeah, immediately it's like, how did you
Like
not catch
how did
this?
you miss this?
Yeah,
How did you miss it?
because it makes like it's almost like a lot of teams don't even have QAs anymore. It's just like,
hmm
hopefully the game's good. The players are gonna test it out for us immediately. It's like they
We found those bugs while we were working on it, but hopefully it works for you.
good luck. But yeah,
Good
so
luck.
hopefully Microsoft and Bethesda can come to an agreement on whatever they're asking for. But Roger, Netflix is in the news again.
All right, so we talked about how they closed their AAA studio before it could do literally anything. So now they're looking to invest in generative AI to make their next game. Like they've got a ton of studios working on like almost 100 projects, but the next big project they're working on is going to be with generative AI because they just fired everyone so that they could just have a AI write it.
So,
It feels almost dystopian at this point. Just
yeah,
I can't.
it's
I
bad,
don't
man.
know.
This is
I don't
what
know what's
the
going
games
on, dude.
industry is really worried about with AI is like that it's going to replace the actual game creator, and it's just
hmm
going to lose a lot of like its artistic touch.
Everything's gonna be COD every game, every year, all the time.
Yeah, and that's not good. We know that.
Mm-mm.
We know that for a fact.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's talk about another shakeup here in the games industry. Take Two has officially sold its indie label Private division. It has not been disclosed on to who it's been sold to or how much this deal has gone for either. But I know Private division, man, like they've been busy with publishing a lot of games.
hmm
Let me see what's like they got Ollie Ollie World, Outer Worlds, did Kerbal Space Program, Roller Drome, Disintegration, Hades, even like they've been a part of a lot of games, and I'm just curious to see what happens to them. Hopefully for a better for better as opposed to worse, obviously. But it's like interesting to see Take Two let something so I think important to the games industry just go because we talk
hmm
about like how important like the double A the indie level games are, and they're just like we don't need them. It seems like all big game developers and publishers are
I
letting go these
think we're
smaller studios.
finally. I think we're finally going to see this. We talked about it the other day, and I just wanted to do a callback real quick before you went too far and just say, look at Double A. Like, look at the success this year alone in Double A.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
it's game of the year may be a Double A game. Like, holy fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, and these companies just keep letting all of their development just go on. We don't need you,
hmm
even though
They're
you're the
like
best part of
everyone
gaming.
needs these big things.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't produce like the amount of money like say Call of Duty would do.
But the ROI, like percentage wise, is like the same.
Right.
So it's
It's
you
just a
know
bigger number.
yeah.
It's really weird. But let's talk about some exciting news here with Amazon.
Alrighty. So with Amazon here, they have announced officially. We talked. I think it was back in 2017. There was rumblings of this.
Hmm.
It was quite some time ago. Amazon wanted to work with Mass Effect to make a TV show. Well, it is now official. They are actively, and MGM Studios is actively working on a Mass Effect TV show.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. I hope they do this right
hmm
because this could be a really exciting show.
Agreed. Agreed. It could be really good, or it could be really bad.
Like I wonder like if this sticks to like the trilogy, right? Like
hmm
then they canonize like is it Femshep or is it right, commit like the male shepherd, and then like all of the decisions that are made throughout the game, like which ones that they choose to be their path.
Do they even follow the game?
Right, if they pull a Halo on us, yeah, we'll see. Or they just take a completely different path and don't follow the games at all, and just pick a different storyline set within the Mass Effect universe. We'll see.
I'm just excited to see where we go with this.
Hell yeah, because we've been getting a lot of good um movie and TV show adaptations from the video game industry that it's just been like a complete like 360, 180, however you want to look at it. Because before it's like, oh, here's another video game movie adaptation. It's going to be shitty, but then now it's not. There's very few of
Yeah,
those.
this was honestly lately we're getting some jaw-dropping like adaptations. It's impressive. It honestly feels good finally to get something quality versus just like, let's be honest, we did just have the Borderlands movie.
Right. Right. They all can't be great, right?
Yeah, there's always got to be a pile of feces in the middle of all of this. But like it somehow makes us appreciate the better ones more.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. All right, man. So with NetEase, they're back in the news again, and this one's really interesting because like has nothing to do with like the games industry specifically, but some employees that were working on Marvel Rivals and even the new Destiny Rising game were arrested. There was a total of 9 people. It was just 9 employees with 2 executives, and they were arrested for allegedly money laundering with the company. It says per the report,
No.
contract values appear to be worth 2 billion yen. Um, or yuan, which is just above 278.6 million. And this is in actual money, it's a bit lower at 800 million to 1 billion yuan, which is 111.4 to 139.3 million dollars. So, regardless, it's a lot of dollars that they were just circulating through, I guess, the company.
Sorry.
And I'm sure that like eventually that has to like not go unnoticed. There's no way. Eventually, that kind of stuff gets caught up. Clearly,
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just
yeah, it's crazy.
we're getting like it feels like we're sitting here as earthlings now just going, you know, everyone and their mom, it feels like, is out to rip everyone else off. It feels like it's nutty lately. It
Yeah,
truly feels just flabbergasting. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get why every time we turn around somebody is out there again doing something.
yeah,
So come on, guys, just for 1 minute, can we stop?
right.
Can we do something that isn't a criminal activity for once?
Maybe, but it's all about that dollar, man, or in this case, the yen. But it's just like money is
Yuan?
really
Was that one yen or yuan?
yuan. Sorry. Um, it's just crazy that like money is just really the root of all evil, like in a lot of
Yeah.
cases. All right, man. We got an update for Nintendo versus Pocketpair.
All right. So we kind of got the amount that Nintendo is suing them for. Where they're settling on 10 million yen as the damage mark for Pocketpair. And for those of you who have kind of lost sight of who Pocketpair is, because we've been quiet about it for a little bit now, that is the developer of
Power World.
Power World. Thank you. I want to call it Pokemon, and I'm like, that's like fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Power World is being sued for the equivalent of about $66,000, which isn't a lot in
it's
the
like a
grand scheme of
it's
things
like a
based on how
drop in the
well they
bucket.
did. Yeah, honestly, with how well they did, and they don't really need to release a better game at this point because they've already won. Like,
Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you saw, but the 3 patents that they have been infringed on.
no, I did
Yeah.
not look at the
So
patents themselves. If you want to give the
yeah, man. So the first one it says describes the input for throwing Pokeballs to catch creatures and summon them to the field. That's the first one. Describe, and then the next one it says describes as an in-game indicator that shows how likely it is to successfully capture a creature. Which I'm curious with that one because I don't remember ever really seeing that in Pokemon. Like it was just kind of one of those you throw a Pokeball and you're trying to capture it's a hope and pray moment.
No. It shakes and then flashes, shakes. That's what they're referring to.
But this one says how likely because in Power World when you throw it, you have it gives you like it's a
Oh,
77%
okay,
chance
okay,
of
okay.
catching it, and then once it shakes once, it tells you now you're up to a 99% chance of catching it.
Oh,
Like
I didn't think about it. Yeah,
Pokemon, I don't think ever had it unless it's in Legends of Arceus, which I've never played.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about it in Legends of Arceus. That's why I'm like sitting here for a minute going,
Yeah, I don't know how they could
I
win that one. But this last one's pretty funny. It says appears to be related to riding characters. So like when you like
don't.
ride the horse or ride the flying
Kinky.
creature, and I'm thinking like, how can they even have a patent for that? Because like a lot of games have it, so you ride on the back of creatures. Like Final Fantasy does it. Like for instance, like when you ride the chocobos.
World of Warcraft does it.
World of Warcraft, yeah, like there's so many games where you're riding creatures. So like I don't really see how you can even have a patent for that.
But you had to capture it. It wasn't handed to you like an item. So
Yeah.
that's how World of Warcraft was safe.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Charmander was handed to me.
They don't ride on the back of Charmander.
No, but you do on his Charizard's evolution. Oh man, so yeah, that was pretty crazy to see. The reason like it wasn't even had nothing to do with like the character design. I'm like, I wonder if they really were like claimed inspiration and then they were like throw it out the window.
They were like, oops, oops.
Yeah, so we'll see how that develops. Like if court even upholds these damages and honors Nintendo, which they've been on a steamrolling case, especially with like shutting down all these emulators and whatnot. They've been successful in court, but we'll
Well,
see.
they just like busted through one guy's door the other day. I think it was this week, actually, this past week. Some dude, they kicked down his door and they, dude got fucked up. Like they took him for a ride, took everything he had.
No damn.
Yeah.
You
It
know.
was the dude. It was the dude doing the switch repairs and stuff. He was like repairing switches and stuff illegally.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
just like
the Switch doesn't
it's
have
just
the
like
right to
what
repair.
Apple wishes you could do.
Right. I was about to say, does the Switch you don't have the right to repair your Switch?
I can't. I don't believe you can run a switch repairing business.
Oh, okay.
You can repair your own switch at your own. Like if you want to avoid your own warranty, that's on you, kind of thing. But
Oh, that makes sense though. I guess, but I wish like everything was just right to repair. Like who cares? It doesn't have to go through the main manufacturer to get repairs. That's just greedy and grimy, in my opinion.
yeah, 100%,
All right, man. We're not done here.
100%.
Apparently we're in session because the court is not done yet. Ubisoft is now being sued for making the crew unplayable. This kind of stems off with the whole thing that's been lately, where like a lot of companies have to disclose that you don't own the game; you're buying a license to play
Steam
the
has
game.
that on everything now.
Yeah. And basically, it says the players are suing the crew's publisher for monetary relief and damages after it closed. Um, because they said they closed it down on the storefront and confirmed that the online only game would no longer be playable beginning in April. It says it's actually been out for almost a decade already. It says we'll be decommissioning on March 31st, 2024. That this was just a report from Ubisoft. I'm trying to find a point where they were talking about. It says they claim it duped customers by telling them they were buying a game when in fact all they were renting was a limited time license to access a game that defendants choose to maintain at their own noblest oblige. And the thing is, like, they were never made aware 10 years ago that they were only buying a game, weren't buying a game at that point. They were just licensing a game that will eventually shut down. So then you're just wasting money, time, investment into a game that you would no longer be able to enjoy after a certain point. So I definitely see Ubisoft probably losing this lawsuit, in my opinion, because like they
Yeah,
just
that's why
implemented this new
everyone
rules.
had to.
Yeah,
That's why they're like, oh, you don't own this game. Like
which
they
is
had to put
crazy.
that warning everywhere now because players are like, the terms of purchase were that we own the game. So get ready for lawsuit city.
Yeah, I think what is it? GOG on PC allows you to actually own your game as opposed to Steam
Hmm.
where you don't.
GOG sells you it, not a license. They sell you the game.
Yeah. All right, man. that was actually a lot of industry news for once. I mean, we had a lot to talk about this week, and obviously we missed a week prior, but still, there's a lot going on in the industry. But we are not done because we do got some gaming news to get to. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right, man. Kicking it off here with Xbox, of course. Oh, switched over to the wrong wrong slide there. But yeah, nonetheless, kicking off with Xbox, and this was the surprising one, man. This one really came out of nowhere back on
Hmm.
the 7th earlier in the month. But Death Stranding Director's Cut was shadow dropped onto Xbox, and it's still being sold right now for 50% off. We do know that this came to Game Pass, PC Game Pass there for a while, and then wasn't on console. We were like, is it ever going to come to Xbox? Here it is. Just not on Game Pass, but it is available to purchase. And that is because Death Stranding IP now belongs to Kojima Productions and no longer is owned by Sony. So it really just begs the question. We know Death Stranding 2 is coming out soon. Does Death Stranding 2 come to Xbox? Yes, I think so. I don't know if
Think
it
so
comes
too.
right at launch. I think it comes maybe a little bit later because I don't know if he was already working on an Xbox port
Hmm.
at the same time, knowing all of this was going on. Like, we just don't know all of those variables, but I think it does come to Xbox. Whether it comes right away is also the other biggest question. I have never played that Stranding. Have you?
Nope.
I I have it on the
I
PS4. I
have
never
not
played
played Walking the Simulator.
it. I heard it's actually
I
really good.
hear
Like, it has a
it's
pretty good
yeah,
story.
that's what I hear. I hear it's a good game, and I'd love to give it a try, but it's just one of those things. It's like there are
It's,
too many games out there to play.
right. It's not high on the backlog list to get dive into.
Yeah, I don't want to,
Mailman
fall
Simulator.
up a hill backwards.
Right. And fight off your
That's
demons.
yeah, and
uh,
carry around this baby or fetus or whatever.
right. Whatever
Like
it is. That shit was so creepy when we were seeing those trailers.
it,
All right.
it looks good, but it's just
Yeah.
not right now.
All right, man. This is another surprise here in regards to Xbox. Xbox is busy, man. I think they've been hitting on all possible cylinders, and this one's interesting too because they're teaming up with IHOP to become the official breakfast partner of Xbox. See if I can get it up here on screen because they kind of have a lot going for this. So this is the official post
The
on the
official
Xbox.
partner of late night COD.
Pretty much. It says IHOP powers up with an Xbox themed menu and legendary collectibles. So as you can see, you can order some special things from. It's Xbox related, but it's really Indiana Jones related because that game comes out in December. So
Hmm.
that's pretty dope. But this console that they made is pretty badass in my opinion. But again, the only way to get this is via sweepstakes, and you cannot buy this per usual. I think it's a huge miss because I think that could sell pretty well, or at least make a wrap. Like, I don't know why they don't do more wraps for the consoles because, like, instead of, because we know that selling special edition consoles is hard because people already own the console. So then, like, why would you buy another one?
Just sell me something to put around my console.
Right, and it makes sense to me. But
Hmm.
yeah, nonetheless,
Agreed.
it's a badass looking console and controller. On top of that, there are the like glasses, and they were kind of reminiscent of the ones that we used to get back in the day from like Burger King, I think it was, like the Disney characters. Um,
BK,
and like I was like,
have it
man, they're pretty
your way.
badass. Like, I really want to get that Halo one. That Halo one is
Yeah,
badass.
they're pretty sick. Like I still think my family has the Disney ones you could get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty interesting to see. Nice little team up with IHOP. I haven't been to IHOP in forever, and I have one right down the road.
My man's like, I'm thinking IHOP
Yeah.
right
And
now.
it's so crazy, right? I haven't been to Little Caesars in God knows how long. I went to Little Caesars the week Call of Duty release because that offered double XP tokens if you buy from them.
My man's like, Little Caesars is just cardboard, it turns out.
Yeah, it's cool because I played through one of the missions in the story, and there's a Little Caesars in the game, and I was like, that's pretty dope. Free advertisement, or not? Probably not free. I'm probably pretty sure they probably paid for that or part of the contract, however they worked that out. But
Somebody's paying for it.
yeah. Another update here for Xbox is that they officially have delayed its mobile store due to the regulations still being finalized. Obviously, with the iPhone or Apple, and then also Google, they have to open up their stores and allow other app stores and other mobile stores to come onto their platforms. And they're still trying to figure out all of the legality behind that, and it's not settled yet. So they can't put out their official store, but that'll be hopefully next year when that does officially come out, or by the end of the year. All right, Roger. This one's actually had me pretty excited because they just announced new update for Avowed, which comes out next year, and it has a new release date of February 18th. But that's not where the excitement stops. There, they announced a new edition of the game. I'm getting it up here on screen for everybody. So obviously you can get the just digital standard edition, some skins, blah blah blah. But the real big one here is the steelbook, and this right here, the premium edition steelbook. I have been obviously collecting a bunch of steelbooks, and the cover of the game already was like one of my all-time favorite covers of a game because of how beautiful
Hmm.
it looks. But now they made it into a steelbook. I was like, I'm buying it. Don't care.
Spicy.
I don't even care. Like the game could be absolutely dog water, but the case will at least be fire. And like it's a game coming to Game Pass day one, so hence it's given me a reason to also buy the game and support the developers at the same time. But hopefully the game's good, man. I never played any Pillars of Eternity games, and I know it's set within the same universe. But all the gameplay we got to see so far has me definitely pretty excited. But what's your thoughts on the new release date being February 18th? They moved that up, I think, a week, and then also the announcement of the new premium edition steelbook.
I am I'm just sort of on the fence right now. Like it seems like it might be a cool, uh Elder Scrolls style game,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to even think about it because like at the end of the day, I'm going to be like super excited for it and then all of a sudden I'm going to be like, "Wow, this is garbage."
This is
I
garbage.
am so unhappy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
I'm really hoping that this game's not garbage, especially since I'll be spending about $100 to get this premium edition when it does drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely in the same boat here. But at least it's coming from somebody that we know has a really good track record because
Mhm.
it's coming from Obsidian, which has made like the Outer Worlds,
Really good
Grounded,
games.
like
They've made great games. So like I don't think it'll be bad. I just want to stay.
trying to temper the
Yeah.
expectations and not getting too overly hyped. Because obviously we had been burnt plenty of times.
Mm-hmm. 100 times over, we've been burnt by games, and it's like, why get excited? Just wait till something comes out, then we'll deal with that. We'll deal with it then.
Right.
That I'll wait, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right, man. Excuse me. So, some big updates to some Xbox related games. Forza Motorsport got a pretty massive update, and this one's really centered around NASCAR. So, NASCAR 2024 next gen NASCAR vehicles, American Thunder Tour, the NASCAR series is featured in multiplayer. There were also graphical improvements to reflections, advanced ghosting in multiplayer, improved Drivatar AI, enhanced car audio for 3 cars, support for rolling starts in featured multiplayer, and tuned car to car collision response. Homestead Miami Speedway track layouts have been refreshed with the new NASCAR branding and much more. So yeah, this game's still getting regular updates, but it's pretty cool to see that. I think it wasn't that not that long ago we were talking about like, man, we haven't had like a new NASCAR game in quite some time, right? This gives you the chance to play a NASCAR game basically just built within another game. Um, Kind of look like I went blurry here. Let me reset my focus here. I'm not sure what happened. Technical difficulties. At least I'll be a blurry guy for the rest of the show. But yeah, man, Forza. I haven't played Motorsport since it dropped. I still hop into Forza Horizon from time to time. But either way, anybody that's big into Forza Motorsport, they'll be able to enjoy this NASCAR update. All right, Roger. This one is I think controversial in a way, but Overwatch has announced the Overwatch Classic. It's a new mode returning the original 21 heroes from the 2016 release for 3 weeks. So this is like only temporary. You get to play the original 21 heroes on the original 12 maps that released back in the day. Um,
And it's
so
6v6.
yeah, 6v6. Can't forget that part. How important that is. Um, but the interesting is because like when I dropped this, not only in our server, I dropped it over in Shoot to Win because I was like, I know that they were big in Overwatch as well, and I was like, oh man, look, they announced Overwatch Classic. It'll be like WoW Classic. It's a new game. They're like, no, it's a LTM. I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And here to find out, it's only here for 3 weeks. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I know that they were testing the whole bringing back the 6v6. I get it, but like, why not just bring this back? Like I think you could win that fan base over again or
You
bring
could
people
you
back.
could potentially it but the game is not balanced around it is the idea. So they returned to the formula that was balanced for that, and
Mhm.
that's why it's there.
Yeah.
It's just because it was balanced around it, so that's why it works out that way. But it's just they didn't balance any of the new stuff for a 6v6 game, so that's why it's not going to be.
And Human, I wish we could say the game is dead. It still has like 150 million active users. Um, it's far from dead, but it's definitely not on the level that it once used to be, and obviously it's not on Call of Duty level, regardless. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah, it's pretty cool. I doubt I'm gonna hop in because I don't recall really playing Overwatch back then, so like I don't really see the excitement behind it. But I know if people that were big in Overwatch during this time, that would be really exciting to check out. Um, they've already been successful with a classic game because they did that with WoW. WoW Classic is not a mode; it actually became its own thing, and that is doing really really well. So I could
Hmm.
see Overwatch Classic doing really well, for sure. All right, man. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part here for Xbox, and that's for their services, Game Pass editions. A lot of these already came out since we missed last week's episode, but Metal Slug Tactics came to cloud, console, and PC on the 5th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Go Mechanic Ball came to console on the 6th as well for Game Pass Standard. Harold Halibut came to the series consoles on the 6th for Game Pass Standard. The Rewinder came to console on the 6th for Game Pass Standard, and Turnip Boy Robs a Bank came to console on the 6th for Game Pass Standard. But then on the 7th, we got Goat Simulator Remastered came to cloud, PC, and the series consoles for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. This one was not on the official announcement at first because it came a couple of days after, but we did get Spyro Reignited Trilogy on the 12th for cloud console and PC, which is pretty awesome. What's even crazier to think that now that all of the Spyro games, all of the Crash games, and basically all of the Banjo Kazooie games are under one umbrella and can be accessed at any given moment. Spyro is one of my most played games from back in the day, PS1. Like I played the first and the second and the third one a lot, and I beat them. I even on the Reignited trilogy, I own it, and I beat the first one, and I'm almost done with the second one. So I'm definitely eager to hop back in one of these days as well. But it's accessible via Game Pass, and that comes out or came out on the 12th. Then next up, we already kind of mentioned it, but Microsoft Flight Sim comes to cloud, PC, and the series consoles on the 19th for Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. We did lose some unfortunate games though on the 15th. Dicey Dungeons, Dungeons 4, Goat Simulator, which makes sense. The remastered is there. Like a Dragon Ishin and Like a Dragon A Man Who Raised His Name, Persona 5 Tactica, and Somerville. So those are four big hitters there at the end that the Game Pass did lose, unfortunately. All right, man. Any big surprises for you, Roger, from the additions or the departures?
Not really. Nothing that was super exciting to have on Game Pass. Playing Like a Dragon to see both Ishin and the Man Who Erased His Name go away is kind of sad for those who didn't get to them. But I honestly a great series. So
Right. I'm curious to see if they bring them back because obviously we see games come and go and be brought back because the rest of the series is still on Game Pass.
mhm.
So yeah, we'll definitely see. All right, Roger. That's all the Xbox news I got for everybody this week. What's going on in the PlayStation realm?
So something interesting that honestly could give PlayStation a lot of clout, like surprisingly, a surprisingly interesting idea, is Sony just patented a PlayStation controller with a dedicated rewind button. So the ability to rewind your game to an earlier part, I believe from the way this is sounding, is it could be something similar to emulator technology, where you can checkpoint your game and kind of jump back to things that you've done, which is fascinating, honestly, that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with it. Um, it it's really fascinating because I think this could give PlayStation their in back into the market, like a reason why you would choose a PlayStation over the Microsoft environment. because you have an ability to do what emulators can do. That would be awesome. What games support it? Can you do it on old games? Because then that's like literally emulating their games on the console and then being able to do the same thing an emulator could do.
Right. I'd just be curious to see like how useful this is because I personally
Hmm.
can't think of any moment where I would use a rewind feature in a game unless like you're really trying to like speed run or I don't know where in my style of gaming it would come in handy. I just feel like it could be one of those like niche mechanics like oh man this is a really dope feature you could do X Y and Z but like you said how many games are going to adapt it like that's an extra feature that game developers are going to have to choose whether they do or don't do.
Um, yeah, no, I agree, and I think if some game developers do adapt it, it'll be really useful. My biggest thought here is just like think about a game that you've played that you keep doing, you keep working your way through this level, and you have to do like 5 or 6 things perfectly correct, and if you don't, you have to start back from the last checkpoint
Hmm.
and you have to keep doing this
Yeah.
over and
I just feel
over
like it could
and
also be
over.
game breaking. Like I can think about it in a
Hmm.
in a Dark Souls game, right?
Yeah.
Like or a Souls like game, just in general, and like you beat a boss, but you beat the first like health bar of the boss. Now you're in the health bar two, and then you die to that one right away. And then obviously you would have to start over
Rewind. Yeah.
and start over, but then you would just rewind to the part where right before you died, and you know what to do. And I'm
Well,
like, that
if
kind of
the
would break the game.
developer puts the part into the game, maybe it's the fact that like they rewind you to the front of the boss room so you don't have to keep running to the boss room over and over and over again.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that being beneficial. I just feel like it could be game breaking for like you not
Hmm.
starting to fight all over again. I just feel
Yeah.
like it makes the game extremely easy.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Because like think about the boss from Wolong Fallen Dynasty, like that first initial boss, how annoyingly hard that shit was. Like you mastered the first part of it, but as soon as you get to the second, it's like what the fuck, and it's like
And luckily, the second part of the fight was quick and easy. All you had to do was like click one thing and you were done. But like, still, if you didn't listen to the dialogue or you didn't make it through the dialogue in time and you just died during that second phase, you're like,
fuck. Yeah, yeah, it was definitely painful. So we'll see how that feature develops, if at all, because it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of patents that a lot of companies do
Mhm.
that they end up not even using at
Just
all.
nothing happens.
Yeah. All right. What else is going on in the PlayStation realm?
All right, so next up, we've got a bunch of changes to the service. So PS Plus extra games and the premium editions. We now got GTA 5, Dying Light 2, Stay Human. Like a Dragon Ishin has left Microsoft and joined Sony. MotoGP 24. We've got The Sims 4, Island Living being added. Digimon Survive. Overcooked All You Can Eat. Stick Fight the Game. Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Killer Frequency, Hungry Shark World, and Chivalry 2. Nothing like overly crazy,
Hmm.
but I am excited because Digimon Survive is a game that I really wanted to play. Like
Hmm.
that almost gives me a moment, a pause that do I maybe want to redo my PlayStation
Hmm.
membership for a month just to play the Digimon game that I skipped that I
Right.
want to play and
Yeah.
it's still $60 on Steam. So no, I think it's I think the catalog is mighty mid, but the PS Plus premium editions though, we've
Hmm.
got Synapse, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen 2, Resistance Fall of Man, and Resistance 2. So just some old classic games returning here.
Yeah, that would be the
Nothing
reason
that
why I
was
would get the PS Plus Premium, is because of
yeah.
the Resistance games, because like they were so
Hmm.
iconic to the PlayStation franchise, like one, two, and three, and like being able to play them again on the PS5, especially with like the enhancements that I'm sure that they would get to, would
Hmm.
would be fun to check out. And honestly, I think it's an IP that they should revisit. Like I think it would do really
There's a
well
lot of IPs they should revisit, but here we are spinning our wheels doing the same live service game again.
over and over and over.
Like Resistance 2, for example, is like a critics gave it a 9.5, but like reviewers gave it like an 8. So it's like not a bad game.
Hmm.
Alrighty, so moving on from Sony, we've got Nintendo now. Our third, fourth, fifth. Oh, we got quite a bit more here still.
Yeah.
But Nintendo has announced, or not announced, but Nintendo released, as we know, the Pokemon TCG Pocket. They made $12 million in just the first 4 days.
So I got another stat to go along with this I didn't include in this part. If they continued on the same trajectory, they would finish with $1 billion by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Or within 1 year, sorry, not by the end of the year, since we're like a month away.
Within a year,
Yeah,
yes, which is pretty crazy.
it's a lot
I
of
don't
dollars.
think they'll do it, but it's pretty fascinating that they made that much. They have over 30 million downloads, and the bad news bears here is a player calculated that if you played free to play, it would take you an average of 2 years to complete the first set only.
Yeah, and obviously this is all based off of like calculations because it's all like luck on pulling the cards because each pack
Because
only
there's
contains
3 packs.
right. There's 3 different packs, and then in each pack that you pull, you're only pulling 5 cards, and then like the percentage chance of pulling a certain card from said pack is even harder. But um, it's pretty interesting because they also have the ability to buy specific 1 cards in the game too with pack points, which you only get 5 pack points per pack you open, and like some cards can cost like 70 or 150 or 1,000. So like it definitely would take a while to buy them that way. But if you're spending dollars, obviously you speed that process up. And a feature of being able to trade is coming future in the game, so I know that that would also speed the process up.
Oh yeah, because and then you're buying packs and you're still getting cards you already have 4 of, and you're like, I literally can't play the fifth copy. Why am I getting it?
Right. Yeah. So
It's the trade. That's why.
yeah. And then they also have the Wonder Pick. So like whenever like one of your friends or like just a random person opens a pack, it goes into the Wonder Pack like slate, and you can see what your friends have opened. And then you can open technically that same pack, but you only get 1 card from it, but you don't know which card you're getting. And it like shuffles around, and you just got to pick one of the 5 cards, and it gives you one of 5 cards. Like you have multiple ways of getting all of the different cards. Exactly, yeah. Human. I got definitely got some good ones. I know I grabbed a couple from yours too. But yeah, overall, it's a definitely an enjoyable experience. I got a bunch of friends that play it. I know Goth John here in the chat and Inhuman both play, and
Hmm.
so
Yeah, something like just another card game. Can't find the time to do.
I understand.
I just barely have enough time to play MTGA and every other in-person card game. Like
Right.
I just set up my shelf behind me with all of my card stuff.
Yeah, you were hiding that from us, man. I guess it looked a
Yeah,
little
well,
different back
it's
there.
hard to really show the full collection, but I just changed up what's behind me. Now it's easier to store.
Yeah.
All right, Vic, what's going on with Warner Bros?
Oh, you forgot the last part of Nintendo's
Oh,
hardware.
yes, I did. Uh,
This is just
so
confirmation of something we got in there.
The Switch successor has been confirmed to have backwards compatibility. I would
Thank
hope.
God.
Like
No,
it's
but
like saying the new 3DS couldn't play the 3DS, play any of the DS games.
no, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Like, yeah.
I'm just glad that they're finally doing that because you think about a lot of the games that we have bought on the Switch were really just Wii U games. If they just made the game somehow, obviously backwards compatible, obviously you can't put a disc into the Switch, but like they could have just like gave you a digital
Hmm.
code or something. Like I don't know. Like I feel like there's ways around it, but they resold us a game, and Nintendo is known for reselling games over and
Hmm.
over and over. But glad to see that they're making the Switch successor a backwards compatible device. But yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about Warner Brothers now for you because they're also in a rough place right now in the games industry, or fuck, even the movie industry, honestly.
Yeah.
Moving forward, they will focus on 4 IPs: Hogwarts Legacy / Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, and but specifically Batman. And then they also admitted that multiverses underperformed and contributed to a further $100 million write down. So obviously, we know the big fallout with multiverses, how bad that ended up being. But I think yeah, if they do stick to these main IPs that they have, they could be really really successful. Hogwarts
You
Legacy
know,
was
if they
really good.
didn't pull multiverses, if they didn't pull it for like what, a year?
Yeah, For
If they
if,
didn't pull it for a year, I think it would have done all right because like Nintendo was like, yeah, I think we're done. I
yeah,
think we're done. We're not going to do any more Smash Bros. We're gonna kill the professional circuit. Like they're done.
right.
So you're like,
Yeah, Multiverses definitely
okay,
dropped the ball. Like I feel like they did what Halo did, like Halo Infinite did, where like they released this really good game at first, everyone was enjoying it, but had no content drops at all, and they didn't have any content in the works or enough content in the works, I should say, where the game just fucking nosedived, and that was one of the biggest issues. Took it off the market for an entire year, came back and still didn't have enough content to supply. And we know Warner
yeah,
Brothers has a shit ton of IP. Like they had everything was basically handed to them. Like here, this game is going to be super successful, but they just completely dropped the ball. Because like we all know that obviously a lot of people still play Smash Bros, but like we know Smash Bros support and continuation of that game is over. That game is just it is what it is. This could have been the new game to take over, and they just missed that mark.
hmm
But yeah, I'm excited to see what. Hopefully, DC gets better because obviously, like Marvel is kind of like shaky right now, and I think DC can really truly rival them. Batman is definitely a big, big focus. Obviously, the new Batman movies have been doing really well. The first one, and then the second one is right around the corner, as Inhuman was saying. Batman 2 films next year. The I know the Penguin show has been received really well. I know people are excited for that. Um, the new Batman VR game looks to be really good. And I just think that if they return to like the Batman Arkhamverse or even go into a different part of the Batman like comic books and whatnot, that's going to be successful. Not these live action or live service Suicide Squad games. That's not the answer. Suicide Squad to me was already a bust. The first film was bad. Then they rebooted that film to make it again, and that one still didn't do that great. But now we're going to make a video game about it, and that wasn't great. People don't want Suicide Squad, at least not right now. But Roger, I know you're bigger in the DC universe than I am. Are you excited that they're going to be focusing on Batman and hopefully getting this thing rolling again?
Batman is where the money was, and also the quality. Like Batman did really well, and like they just sort of disappeared, and we're like, okay, and they were like, live service. That's the answer.
Another big game company chasing the trend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what everyone's doing.
All right, man. So I do got an update for Hogwarts Legacy. It says the Hogwarts Legacy sequel will have some tie-ins to the new Harry Potter TV series. So basically, they're rebooting all of the Harry Potter books and turning them into TV series. Like one book equals one season. But they're going to have some interesting tie-ins to the game. But we all know that Hogwarts Legacy takes like hundreds of years. Not I don't say hundreds, but it's basically a prequel to the timeline of Harry Potter. Like takes place way
Mm-hmm.
beforehand. So that'll be interesting to see. Like if you played Hogwarts Legacy, some of that stuff sprinkled into the Harry Potter reboot, or vice versa. If you're a big fan of the Harry Potter show and you see it in the game, so that'll be pretty cool. That'll be a nice fan service, I think. But they did give an update for Hogwarts Legacy. They did sell over 30 million copies as of right now, and that's a lot, honestly. We could put it on the pedestal for one of the most successful or successfully sold games, I should say. But yeah, all right, man. Let's go ahead and move on to Nvidia here.
Alrighty. So Nvidia recently released their streaming service. They've decided that they need my man opens up the view all white
Oh
screen
yeah,
on his face.
Flash.
Like dude's flashbanging himself over here. But yeah, so Nvidia released the GeForce Now and the streaming service for $9.99 a month with 1440p streamed ray trace gaming. They are now going to be giving players a 100-hour a month allowance as opposed to just free to play as much as you want. They also said that up to 15 hours of unused playtime will automatically roll over to the next month, theoretically allowing you 115 hours if you don't use all of your hours the previous month. Um, so interesting that they're now limiting players. To give you an idea, you would easily hit that number if you played one day, the same day every week for 24 hours. You would pass your allotment. or not pass it, you would be 4 hours short.
in
So if
4
you
days.
did 4 24-hour days,
That's it.
that
Yeah.
would be it.
Yeah, I just did a calculus. Like any like live streamer, like professional, can only do it for 12 and a half days at 8 hours a stream.
Hmm.
Like that's just, I feel like it's low. Like I don't know who this is really targeting in a way.
It's there are people out there that play more than 100 hours a month. I'm that
And
guy,
I
you're
know I
that
am too.
guy. So like there are people out there that this is their main way of gaming, and so now they're limited.
Yeah, I don't see like I'm trying to understand like am I streaming like Twitch or am I like just streaming a game like Game Pass or XCloud, I guess. Like I'm trying to understand what kind of program this is because this says performance is $9.99 a month for offers 1440p streaming, ray tracing, and 6 hour sessions, but ultimate is $19.99 a month, offering 4K 120, 1080p 240, HDR ray tracing, 8 hour sessions. So I'm guessing it's just like the ability to play the game over the cloud with these features. I don't know. I think it's weird because like Xbox doesn't put any limitations. Like you're just gonna stream the game at whatever internet quality that you can stream at and however long you want to play for. I don't see how this can is a competitive good. Like I would not want to choose this service over Xbox.
It's not good for consumers. That's what it's called.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll continue to monitor that as they see that not being very successful.
I forgot they even existed, to be honest.
We know a lot of the Xbox had to make that 10-year deal with them to bring a lot of their content and games to their service to acquire Activision Blizzard. But nonetheless, let's talk about a game that still cannot die. I mean, I feel like we talk about them every week now at this point, but No Man's Sky is getting had gotten another big update, introducing cross save, which is huge. Like if you start on PlayStation, you can finish on Xbox or PC or however you want to play the game. But it also brings PS5 Pro support. And this was interesting because with this, you'll be able to play No Man's Sky at 8K 30 FPS if you have obviously everything that can support it, the TV, the cables, the whole nine. But the big excitement here is that they have released a Mass Effect Expedition, so that's pretty cool. The tie-in Mass Effect has been kind of littered throughout our episode this week. But yeah, man, does any of these updates kind of got you excited for No Man's Sky still?
Dude, I've never played it and I never will. it's it's way too much.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot now at this point for sure. All right, Roger, Warhammer 40K. What is going on in that realm?
So Darktide is the game that refuses to die. Same with Vermintide. Like these are live service games that they just continue to update, and like there isn't really like a subscription or anything. They just keep putting out content every so often. Darktide is officially coming to PlayStation though on December 3rd, just 2 years after its initial release.
I can't believe it's been 2 years. Like we first played it when it first came out for like a week, and
Hmm.
I know I stopped. I don't know if you continued to play it, but the
Nope,
game
I
is
was playing with
massive.
you.
Yeah, the game
Yeah.
is massive with like content wise. Like, let me see what it's up to now on How Long to Beat Dark Tide. 73 hours to play through the co-op, and that's the only thing it got. But I'm sure there's like hundreds of hours because I know it's a very very grindy game.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that was like one of the biggest turnoffs. But like when it was first announced, I was like, man, this looks good, looks like a lot of fun. But realizing it's a game that you're gonna have to just play hundreds of hours in the grind stuff just turned me off immediately. All right, man. Let's talk about another shooter, though. Fortnite has announced that its OG mode is returning permanently on December 6th. Obviously, we know the craze and the hype around bringing back the original Fortnite map and how big that was. But you'll be able to do that moving forward without it ever leaving again. So,
Yet Call of Duty still can't figure it out that people want this.
no, they did. They announced Verdansk is the map coming in the first month or
But
two.
it'll disappear eventually.
No, Verdansk will be back for good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be at least. And then because like
Supposed to be.
the next big map doesn't come out until COD 2025. But yeah, man, what's going on with Valve?
So Valve, lots of things, but let's just talk about the one thing really in the news this past week. Other than, we just had the 10-year anniversary of Half-Life 2, or no, it's 20th or 25th. We just had a
20th.
huge anniversary for that, which we didn't put in the news here. But Half-Life 2, yes, it's their 20th anniversary for Half-Life 2. Maybe we'll hear about Half-Life 3. But in the meantime, the Steam OLED White Limited Edition was announced. It is a new Steam Deck. Looks pretty good, but for $679 starting tomorrow.
Yeah, doesn't look that good. Nah, I definitely would love to get into the whole handheld gaming, like PC gaming, would be pretty awesome, but can't
It's
justify the
just
price
not
tag yet
worth it half the time.
because I don't know how often I would use it. Like I barely use my Switch as it is. So like I don't want to waste like $5, $6, $7, $800 on a mobile PC that I would probably barely play. If I
Hmm.
did a lot of traveling or like rode the bus or the train and stuff like that more, maybe, but I don't. But nonetheless, it looks really pretty.
Alrighty. So last thing we got on the books here is Capcom. Before we end out the show, Capcom has announced a new free-to-play Monster Hunter game called Outlander. So we recently got a mobile Monster Hunter game. We're getting Monster Hunter, what is it, Worlds coming out here soon. So lots of stuff coming from Monster Hunter. They just keep dumping game after game after game, and it's exciting to see. For those who like Monster Hunter, there is now a free to play with in-app purchases Monster Hunter game for mobile.
Monster Hunter Wilds is the next big one
Wilds, thank you.
on February 28th. February is gonna be insane for games.
Hmm. I mean, late winter, early spring typically is.
Yeah. But yeah, so who's making this one is Team E Studio, the developer behind Age of Empires Mobile, COD Mobile, Pokemon Unite. So I mean, these guys have produced a lot of great mobile games. So I don't expect anything less from them. Because I think we already had like a Monster Hunter mobile game, but it was made by Niantic, I believe. The people who made Pokemon Go.
Yes, I believe it was the one where you went around and collected monsters or something. Like you
Yeah.
had to, it was a geo game.
Mm-hmm. Niantic. Let me see. Yeah, Monster Hunter Now was what that one was called. Is an augmented reality mobile game. Yep. Yeah, that's what that one was. But yeah, this will be like a pretty much similar to like the mainline games, I think. Just on the phone. So that's pretty dope. Why not, right? I mean, we know how big the mobile market is and who this game is really going to target as a really massive audience. So, yeah, I think it's a win-win for them.
Hmm.
All right, man. That's everything that we got this week. Got any last comments before we close out this week's episode?
No, honestly, I think this winter is going to be quiet for a while until we get to next year.
Yeah, obviously we got the Game Awards coming up. The official Game Awards is on December 12th, but the show for December 8th, I think will be our show where we reveal our Game Awards and present those awards based off of me, you, and Scott's decisions on that. But we do want to thank everyone who checked us out live today, and anyone who does check us out later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even YouTube. Roger, where can the community find you at?
You can find me here at the podcast, or you can find me on Discord. Those are my two locations.
And of course, you can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _ Threads is Mr. Never Chillin, and I just created a Blue Sky account, which is also Mr. Never Chillin. It's basically Twitter, just another app, of course. Xbox is X Never Space Chillin. Facebook is Vic Brubacher. For any questions, concerns, if you want to come on the show, hit me up there. And I do stream over on my Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Never Chillin, where I am currently playing through Black Ops 6 campaign. And I do got to start another game here soon because I got to get through the remaining 6 games to reach my 52 game goal. But we do want to thank everyone again. And until next week, peace.
Press Start Podcast.